Hey, it's Dr. Rowe. I hope you're well. I wanted to just share with you about the subject of testimonials. When I'm running my communications program, one of the components actually within the whole system is relating to social proof. And I think a lot of people, when they go into business, whether it's a one-man band, one-lady band, or it's a big business, the idea of getting client testimonials can be a little bit of a block, and people don't ask for them. So when we talk about communication in business, a big part of communication in business is how to communicate the message from your clients and how they love what you do and they enjoy it. Hence, we want to get the 5-star rating, which I've got behind me. So what I've done is I've actually created here for you just a little bit of, let me just pull this up for you, a little bit of a list. And this is when I'm teaching people, this is what I actually suggest that you do. Now, whether you're a coach, whether you offer a service, whether you sell widgets, you have an online business, have products, etc., whatever it is, it's so important to get your users, the people that have bought your product, you've provided a great value, to share something about your story or their experience, because more and more these days, people are going to websites like Trustpilot, or they're going to look through the reviews. They go onto Amazon as an example, look at the reviews, and they look at the variety of reviews as well. If you ever see just 5-star only, people go, So they want to see authentic reviews. They want to see people feeding back with a genuine review or testimonial on the experience. Now, I think the first thing to do is to ask. And I get the question a lot from people like, when's the right time to ask a client? I've even had people who are selling a product or even getting a coaching business going and saying to their clients, literally the minute they started, would you be prepared to do a testimonial? Remember, you want to communicate and you want your clients to communicate an authentic message. So my personal belief is I want the person that I'm working with, the client, the customer, whatever, to have had the experience or have had a good part of the experience and seen positive experiences or results from it, and get a sense of that from their feedback before I then ask them the question, would you be willing to give a testimonial? It would be really great if you could share that with my potential customers or my buyers. Would you be prepared to write something or record something for my website? When they're in that moment, because they're loving what you're doing, they're loving the service, they're loving the product, they might phone you, email you, whatever. And whilst they're in that emotional state, that's a great time to ask them, because for a lot of people, when they're grateful, they want to do something as a way of saying thank you. So the law of reciprocation comes in here as well, as long as it's authentic and you're doing it authentically. So ask whether you do it as an email, you can do that, whether you do it directly over the phone, which I think is more personable, or you send them a WhatsApp message, whatever your mode of communication is. It's really, really important to ask whilst they're in that moment. I have in the past made the mistake of delaying this. When I used to run my early events, people would have an amazing time. We'd see everybody saying, this is incredible, you've got to do another one of these. And we were still pumped from the events. We'd come off the events, and then 4 or 5 weeks later, we're like, all right, we need to do some testimonials. And you've kind of lost the moment then. So it is important to grab the opportunity at that moment and seize the day. Don't pay people. That's my personal view. I know some people will offer money or some kind of incentive. I think personally you want somebody to give a genuine testimonial without them having been influenced by you paying them or anything like that. Again, that's your choice, but that's personally how I like to do it. So whenever somebody's genuinely saying, I'm having a great experience, or this has been incredible, I'll say, thank you so much for the feedback. So I'm grateful. Would you be open to doing a testimonial of some kind, so that I can share that message with my audience or with my clients, with my customers? That's the sort of wording that I would use. Then the big question is, what should it be? Should it be video? Should it be written? And there's different schools of thought on this. If you really want to do it simple, go for video. Video is, most people really relate to video testimonials. I use them on big stage events in front of thousands of people. I've used it on our websites, on our product pages, etc. And the great thing with video is that video can also be turned into an audio. So you can have the audio part of a video and use that if you're looking for a simple delivery. It can even be partly transcribed or extracts taken from that testimonial, which they did as a video, and then you take that extract and then you use that as a written testimonial. So I always find it's better to come down from a video than going up from a transcribe or up from a written testimonial. And then just keep it simple. I generally don't tell them what to say. I just say to them, feel free to share honestly what your experience has been. If they say, was there anything specific you want me to talk about? I might say, well, I love the fact you mentioned this, or I love the fact that you mentioned the support you had. That's really useful because people often ask that question. And they go, great, I'll bring that and I'll include that in my testimonial. So you're not giving them a script, you're not telling them what to do. You might just give them a bit of an outline or a guide if they want to know what framework to present it in. And the fourth one in the communication process of this is it has to be authentic. Now, this is a whole area of my communication system. It's like, how do you communicate authentically? In a nutshell, they just need to speak in an honest way, the way they were sharing with you about their experience. Tell them to imagine they were talking to you or telling their friend about what they had as a great experience. Use that experience and that authenticity on camera, and then just wrap it up with a simple message. It doesn't have to be a hard sell, but it must be authentic. It must feel to the listener, the viewer, that it's authentic. And that's really it. 4 really important tips. They work very well. And if you're in business, do not be afraid. That's, I guess, number 5 is don't be afraid to ask for this, because the more testimonials you get, there'll be a tipping point to the people watching you. They'll go, you know what, look at all these testimonials. I have to go and do this. I have to have this product. So look, if there's, if you've got anything from this, or, learning experience and inspiration, please type something in here. It's always nice to have a share from people. Remember to follow us, to subscribe, catch us on YouTube, etc. And share any of the posts that you see, including this one. It's always nice to have that support as well. See you on my next post.